You put that number up there yet?
No, we haven't put it up there just yet, Coach. All right, okay. I'll put it up there now. Give them a few minutes to get in here, Coach. Oh, they jumping on now, Coach.
It's the last show, ain't it, baby?
Oh, yeah. I'd like to welcome everybody to the 13th episode of HBCU Football Coach's Corner, hosted by none other than Johnnie Cole himself, the swag legend. And I'm his trusty sidekick, the Robin to Batman. My name is Rocky. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in this evening. We're going to get started here pretty quick. We got a man on a mission waiting backstage, so we're not going to hold you long. But before we get started, you know how we do it. How you doing, Coach?
Man, I'm doing great, Coach, man. Just fighting a little got a little temperature. But besides that, man, I'm here and ready to rock and roll. This is the last, at least for this year.
Yeah. Coach, you say you playing a little hurt, Coach?
Yeah, man. I got a little gifted ankle, man. But, you know, hey, if we had a game this week, baby, take me up. Put me in the game, Coach.
My high school coach, Johnnie used to always say this, Coach. I would, guys would get their feelings hurt. Their girlfriend would quit them. They'd have a little scratch. And he'd go in and you go in to coach and you say, Coach, I'm feeling bad. And this would be off season, Coach. Hey, Coach, I'm really feeling bad. My feelings a little hurt. Could I just take the day off from the workout? He say, well, let me ask you this here, Rock. If the state championship was played today, could you go? And I say, of course, Coach. He say, well, go put your stuff on. You got 5 minutes. He didn't play that, Coach. You had to make all your workouts. So, Coach, I want to thank you for being here and playing hurt under the circumstances. But with no further ado, I'll give you the opportunity to introduce our special guest.
I've been knowing this guy for a while. Like we said the other week, he's done it the right way. He's climbed the ladder in the black college football. He's a black college graduate. He's been an assistant coach. He's been a coordinator. He's coached under some of the greatest coaches that coach in the SWAC. And it's his time. He's one of them guys that waited in the line, and it is time. And he is on the clock.
And it's none other than the current newly hired Southern head coach, Terrence Graves. Coach Graves, I want to thank you for joining the show tonight. I know you're a very busy man, and but has it slowed down any, Coach, since you were appointed? What was it last Thursday?
Approved last Thursday, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So has it slowed down any?
Not at all. It's picked up quite a bit, but that's to be expected. But I mean, it's a blessing to have this opportunity to be the head football coach at Southern University. As Coach Johnnie Cole said, I've been doing it for a long time. I've been at it for 31 years, and it came at the right time. People say it's long overdue. I always say it happened when it was supposed to happen.
Oh, well, that's a great attitude to have, Coach.
Now, Coach, I know you've been bouncing around in the SWAC league, and like I said earlier, you coached under some great coaches, and you've probably been passed up on a couple of jobs, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've had some jobs that passed me by in the SWAC, the MEAC, CIAA, SIAC, and then I've also turned down some jobs as well, because I always say I never wanted to be a head coach just for the sake of being a head coach. I commend those coaches that take some of those jobs that may not be the best jobs and they feel like it's a challenge. But also I looked at it as a standpoint of, I'm a winner. So, and I've been winning all my life. So I don't want to just take a job just to be taking the job, because sometimes if you're not able to turn that corner or make a dent in that program, then it goes against you, unfortunately, for the rest of your career. So I was very calculated, very patient. Yeah, there was some times where I was frustrated because of some jobs where I thought I was the best candidate for the job, and it didn't happen that way. So I just look at it as, the good Lord didn't. He was telling me no. He wasn't saying no. He was just saying not right now.
Hey, Coach, I want to ask. I can't have this interview without asking you, Coach, how big did the part play in you getting the job that you were part of the previous coaching staff? Did that play any significant part in you being selected for this job?
Well, I would say being, I don't know that for sure, but I don't think it hurt that I was a part of Coach Richardson's staff, the legendary coach, Coach Pete Richardson, who coached me at Winston-Salem State, and he's the reason why I'm at Southern University, because he brought me from Winston-Salem State to Southern University, and I was fortunate enough to be there 15 years, and we were the team of the decade. We won numerous championships in the 90s. Blessed to be a part of those. So I would say the familiarity and my having an imprint on those teams in the past certainly didn't hurt. I don't know if it helped, but I know it didn't hurt.
Okay, Coach.
And for some of our listeners who may not know who Pete Richardson is a graduate of University of Dayton. He played professional football for the Buffalo Bills. He's also my high school coach. And then he left and went down to Winston-Salem, where he coached Terrence as well. And then he got the job at Southern University, 17 seasons and only one losing record. Sometimes I say he still should be coaching, but I guess he kind of walked away. So and he's won several championships. And Terrence, I don't think Eddie Robinson ever beat him.
No, he's the only coach to be undefeated versus the legendary Coach Eddie Robinson.
Yeah, I think he won like seven Bayou Classics in a row.
Yeah, he was undefeated versus Coach Rob.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you have if he coached you in college, and you were doing my research, I know he brought you to Southern as a GA, and you worked through the ranks and eventually became the defensive coordinator. Is that correct?
Yes, I was. I went from a graduate assistant. I was a graduate assistant for one semester, and Coach called me in the office in the spring of '95, and I thought he was calling me in the office about my refund check, and I found out I was the linebackers coach. So I got that check and my refund check, and then I went from that, the linebackers coach, to special teams coordinator, to recruiting coordinator, the co-defensive coordinator, to defensive coordinator, and then I moved on after that. I finished up here as the defensive coordinator under Coach Richardson.
Now, Coach, with that being said, having those close ties to Pete Richardson and what he means to the Southern fan base, right? He set some pretty high expectations for the, let's not say expectations. Let's use the word standards. He set some pretty high standards for Southern football. It became one of the blue blood programs in HBCU football. And I just have to ask you this in a direct way, Coach. How will you deal with the expectations of the Southern fan base? And is it a certain amount of pressure that you're under being the Southern head coach now?
Well, first of all, the standard that's set is the same standard I played under at Winston-Salem State University. When I was there, I was there for 3 years after I transferred, and we played in 3 straight championship games. And they had already played in, I forget how many championship games prior. So I understand the legacy and the know-how and the greatness of Coach Richardson. And then when he came to Southern and did what he did, what I'm going to do is not try to walk in his shoes, but walk in my own shoes. But I'm going to utilize him to help me to accomplish the goals that we're going to set forth in the program. And of course, it's always to graduate students and win championships and make great men. So I think I have the blueprint or a blueprint, give or take a tweak here or there to be successful. Now, pressure is going to always be there. Pressure, I mean, it was pressure being a coach, an assistant coach, an assistant head coach. Now it's pressure being the head coach of the program. But at the same token, when when you're walking in your calling, there's gonna always be pressure, but you got something that can help you deal with that pressure.
Yeah. Well, Coach, let me ask you how, taking an overview, and you, of course, you came from a GA all the way up, and looking at the SWAC in the last 25 years, most conferences kind of circulate their coaches. I guess, how did you feel when Dion jumped in? There were several more other guys who jumped in and just kind of what I would say was skip the line. How did that make you feel?
Well, I wasn't overjoyed by it. I understood it. I know it happened one time before, at a time before when the Alabama State and A&M hired the Coach Cooper and Coach Dickerson back in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't overjoyed about it, but at the same token, I understood that was the decision that they made and what they wanted to do behind it. I will tell you, it was a part that was frustrating because not just for me, but I look at a lot of the coaches. I think there's a perception that needs to be corrected. A lot of times, coaches that coach at HBCUs, we don't coach at HBCUs because we can't coach anywhere else. We choose to coach at HBCUs. And if we were up under people who taught us or, really pushed us to say, hey, I want you to go, get good in this, learn all you can learn, prepare yourself. So when the old regime steps down, you all are ready to take over the reins and keep it going forward. And I think sometimes we're taken for granted. We're underappreciated, or we are put in a box. And a lot of times people say, well, they're career HBCU coaches. We need to think outside the box. We need something fresh. But the thing is, if that's what we've chosen to do and we work and prepare for that, then I think that we should be appreciated and given those opportunities. Now, of course, the universities have the right to hire who they want, but I think it's kind of it's a little hypocritical when you take a young coach or young coaches and you train them for a profession, and then when they get prepared and qualified to do the jobs, then they get overlooked because now that's all they've been doing all their lives. And again, a lot of us choose to do it. For me personally, I've chosen to stay in HBCUs. I've had opportunities to coach on every level, and I've turned those jobs down because this is what I choose to do. This is what I love. I love the culture. I love building and molding the young men that come to our HBCUs. So that's why I do it. And I think it's a lot of other coaches who are whether they've been doing it 31 years like me or 25 or 20 years, I think those coaches are deserving. And I don't think that we, take that stigma off of us as recycle. They love to use the term recycle. My thing is when people outside of athletics, when they go from job to job to job, from company to company to company, are they considered recycled? So don't put a label or stigma on us because we choose to do something that we love to do.
Bringing the recycle argument, I ain't gonna say argument though, but I'll say the notion is, and you someone helped dispel that notion of a guy who's been a career assistant and then he gets a promotion. The notion is that in other professions, right, some men are elevated in their youth. They've been in the business 5 years, maybe 10 years. And they say, what do you say to people who say, well, if you're any good, you wouldn't have had to wait 30 years to become a head coach? What would you say to someone who had that mindset or philosophy?
Again, I could have been a head coach 6 years after I became a full-time coach. I was a finalist for a head coaching job in the SIAC. So I've had coaching opportunities in the SWAC. I've had opportunities to coach in the SIAC, CIAA. You know, there's been opportunities, and not just those HBCU conferences. You know, but I chose to stay at Southern University or the other universities where I coach because rather than just go and take a job for the sake of being a head coach, I'll give you an example. If I'm in a conference where the scholarship numbers, and we'll talk about the FCS level, so we get 63 scholarships, correct? So
Yes.
if I'm in a conference that gets that they play with 63 scholarships, and a school wants to hire me as a coach, and they only offer 40 scholarships, and you can have 13 coaches, but I only can get 4 full-time coaches. I can only have a strength and conditioning coach with no assistant. I can only have $15,000 to $20,000 as a recruiting budget. Now, do I take that job and say, man, this is my shot, I'm gonna be a head coach, I can show them that I can do it? Or do I be real? Am I realistic and say, I can't coach that good? You know, I don't know a coach that can take a situation like that and win consistently, because guess what? The expectations are they want you to win and compete against those other schools in your conferences that have the resources. And then when you can't because you shorthanded, then you can't coach. So why put myself in that situation for the sake of just saying I'm a head coach? You know, there's an old saying: just because just because you put a go-kart in the garage, don't make it a Cadillac.
Right.
And you bringing up something that I think is something sometimes us fans and analysts who are outside the coaching profession sometimes don't understand, that all jobs aren't created equal.
Correct. Correct.
Well, one of the things
Coach has done a great job of explaining the challenges. Each job, especially in the HBCU realm, come with its own unique set of challenges, and you have to possess the skill set, the willpower, and also the work ethic to be willing to overcome whatever those obstacles are.
Yeah, one of the things Coach said, Del Rocky, is back when we were players, they had coaches that been at these schools for 10 to 15 years, head coaches. Like Bill Hayes trained at P. Richardson. You know what I mean? Eddie Robinson trained Doug Williams and them. But what has happened to me in the last 20 years, you can correct me, Grace, is that we've been interchanging so many coaches and hiring guys from outside that we don't get lost on guys. Grace, I made a statement last week. Look back 20 years of guys who won a championship. All of them on the shelf. From Melvin Spears to me, they're on the shelf. They should be somewhere on somebody's staff to make sure that they help training somebody because they've been in that seat. But for some reason, we go outside. We one of the few, if not the only conference, who really go outside. I remember when I was coaching at Southern, I remember Louisiana Lafayette and Monroe, they just switch coaches. You go from one school to the next. You know?
But they don't call them recycle.
Well, right, they won't call them
recycle. Look at major college football. Tell me how many coaches in major college football that have not been to 2 or more schools. Yeah. You know, all those jobs that open up, but it always seems to be, and I don't have a problem with it, because I'm like, hey, you want the best guys, but you look at all those schools that open up, and it's the same or almost the same coaches all the time. It was the same coaches all the time, but you know, that's what they do. But the stigma is not on them; it's the stigma that's on the coaches at our school.
You brought up a very interesting point, Coach Graves, and this is something that I, doing research, like I say, I've been following the SWAC for 4 years, Coach. So I don't have the historic perspective that many SWAC fans have, and that you coaches have, right? And what I will say is, Coach, back in the in the 90s, when Pete Richardson was winning championships and you were the defensive quarter coordinator on some of those teams, if you were outside HBCU, one of those schools would have grabbed you and hired you as their head coach, because that's what they do outside of HBCU football, right? They take a guy that's part of a successful program, whether he's the OC or the DC. They don't care if the school is down the street or 100 miles away or across the country. They say, hey, Coach Graves is the DC on the championship team. Let's hire him to be our coach here. And in my opinion, if it does nothing else, it takes a resource from that championship school. For whatever reason, I've watched 12 different hires since I've been in the SWAC, 12, right? And not one time did they take an assistant coach off of a championship staff.
Yeah.
What can you explain why is that, or
If I knew the answer to that, I would tell you to go get you a Powerball or Mega Million ticket, because you about to be a rich man.
but that's one of the things that I noticed, because again, my only reference point is Power 5, Group of 5 football. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when I come in this space, I'm looking for instance, when Grambling comes open, right? Mm-hmm. And the Grambling job comes open after Deion's first season as head coach. Why wouldn't Grambling look at the DC or the OC at Jackson State at the time for their potential head coach? They didn't. They went and hired a guy that was completely foreign to HBCU football, installed him. And I believe Coach Jackson did some good things, but he was foreign to the culture. And I think, that doesn't help when you come into something that is very different, I'll say, as an HBCU football. But I will say this, Coach Graves, and I'll move on. I will say this. I think Deion coming into the space has made SWAC fans and SWAC school administrators very impatient. So it's created a lot of opportunities for guys like you to finally get their opportunity to be a head coach, because your predecessor, he wasn't given long to turn things around at Southern, and before you were selected as the head coach. Will you be on the same time clock as your predecessor, Coach Graves?
I can't answer that. All I can tell you is this. My job is to win those football games and graduate those young men. So if I'm doing a great job doing that, I think my chances of being here will be good. So I understand what my job is, and we're gonna do our best to make sure that we make the Southern University Jaguar Nation very proud.
Well, let me ask you about the team. How is the boys doing? I mean, y'all had a shake-up, and did you lose some to the portal or some trying to transfer out? How's the team? Where do you think the team is at?
Well, that was devastating when they got the news, and guys were naturally upset. Coaches, we as coaches were upset. And then when I got named the interim, we met and I gave them 48 hours. I said, hey, we got 48 hours to feel how we're gonna feel, and then we got to get back on the horse and we got to go to work because we got a game to play. And those guys, they locked in, and those guys, I said, I need to know who's all in. If you 10 toes down, put the 10 up. And those guys put the 10 up, and they was 10 toes down. So we that's what we rode on. And those guys did a great job of preparation. Those guys did a great job of coming together. We had some guys enter the portal, after that a few weeks, because, we were going through the process of who was going to be the coach. And I think that some guys didn't know. Some of those guys didn't know who the coach was going to be. So that was kind of alarming. It was kind of a caution flag for them. So we had some guys enter the portal, and then we had some guys that decided to do other things. But for the most part, the spirit of the team is really good. And when we did a team Zoom call because, the students are out of school So we did a team Zoom, and when AD Banks announced that I was going to be the head coach, I mean, it was pandem. Those guys went bananas. The first thing they say, "Coach, put your hat on. Put your hat on," because they like the way I wear my hat. So I'm sitting there like I don't have a hat. They were like, "Coach, go get the hat. Go get the hat." So I had to get up in my office and go get my hat and put my hat. I put it on straight at first, and they was like, "No, no, 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 you got to put it on." So I turned it and put the hat on. They was like, "That's our coach right there. That's our coach." So it's been good. It's been really good.
Well, I'll tell you what, watching the game, and I seen you made your first head coaching change. I know maybe you had some drawback, but it seemed like you switched quarterbacks or something like that. You played the other guy, and the guy played very well.
Yeah, I did the same thing 2 years ago when I was up north at the other school. And it was nothing personal. My thing is I wanted to play, and I told the coaches the thing that we wanted to do, we wanted to give ourselves the best chance to win the game. And Noah had been chomping at the bit. I think he had deserved the right to have the opportunity to play. It gave us a different dimension. I don't know if they probably didn't prepare for him. So, and I didn't release who the starting quarterback was going to be until right before the game. I didn't say anything about who the starter was going to be. Our practices were closed, so nobody had an idea of who the starter was going to be. So they saw both guys out there warming up, as business as usual. So, and then when we, came out and 15 played, I thought he did a good job, other than the one pick six that he threw. But outside of that, I thought he played a really good game. And it was advantageous for us because at the end of the day, Johnnie, my goal was to win it because I wanted those guys. To leave off the field as champions, and we were able to accomplish that. And that's hats off to the players. That's hats off to the coaches and the support staff. Everybody did a great job of accomplishing the goal that we set forth.
Hey, Coach, I see we got all kinds of Southern people in this live, Coach. But I want to encourage everybody to like the stream. Also, go if you're watching on off script, go down to the description, click our channel, and please subscribe to our channel, man. We definitely appreciate it. We have Coach Graves, the new head coach of Southern University, on our live, and we want to thank him, Coach. But I gotta ask, there's a few questions that these Southern fans want to ask. One, what will your staff look like going forward?
It'll be, we'll have some coaches that will remain. I know some coaches, at the time during the transition, I said to the coaches, I said, hey guys, I'm not sure if I'm going to be the head coach. So if you know, like I know, you need to be networking and reaching out to people because I was doing the same thing. I wasn't just sitting on my hands waiting to see if I was going to get the job. I was networking and calling people. I said, hey, listen, I don't know if I'm going to get the job or not, but just in case, if I don't get the job, if I'm not retained, if you have something available, keep me in mind. And I told the coaches to do the same things. And those coaches, I know coaches are, looking for other opportunities, and some may get opportunities to elevate in their career. And if that's the case, I wish them well. Kudos to them. It's always, I'm never going to be one to hold a coach back from an opportunity to advance himself career-wise. So, but it'll be a staff of a mixture of both veterans and some young coaches that are not as old, but they're great coaches. It'll be coaches that, first of all, are great character guys. They're great teachers, great recruiters, and they're great men. I think that's important. You got to have guys that are great men to so important to the lives of these young men. So it'll reflect. The staff will reflect me. So that's what we can look. That's what they should look forward to.
Coach, there probably has to be contracts signed and things of that nature before you can officially announce. Is there anybody on the staff that you can officially announce that will be a part of it?
Well, I'll release the I'll release the staff, the entire staff, when everybody's on board.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. We also had some questions about some guys who entered the transfer portal and what your philosophy will be about those guys. Will they have an option to return if they entered the transfer portal?
Well, some of those guys are coming back. Some of the guys are in the transfer, and I think sometimes the transfer portal, which I mean, that's today's college athletics. So I don't, you can get all up in arms and upset about it, but that's what it is. So you got to recruit your team that you have, and then you still got to recruit players to add to your team. So that's how we're looking at it. Some of those guys that are in the transfer portal were not on the team, and that's the thing that you also have to be mindful of guys that are at your school. They can get in the portal, and it may look like that there are guys on the team that got in the portal, but some of the guys weren't even on the team. So, that's the only thing about the portal that I really don't like, is because anybody can enter the portal, whether they were on the team or not. So the perception may look like a lot of guys got in the portal or what have you, but in all actuality, it was only a few.
Well, one thing I did notice, Coach, is that by my count, there were less than 20 players that entered the portal from Southern University after Coach Dooley was dismissed. And that was surprising to me, that it was only 20 players that entered the portal. Now, you bring up a very good point. Some of those 20, the names that I recognize, had either not been part of this year's team or they had been part of previous teams, but they weren't part of the current team, right? So those guys weren't. But
right.
Anybody would say, let's say this, if anybody was part of the 2023 version of the Southern Panthers who entered the portal because Coach Dooley for whatever reason, will they be allowed to come back is what they're asking.
Oh, yeah, there's some guys that entered the portal for whatever reasons, and
there was a baller that I saw that entered the portal, a defensive guy, and I'm sure he would like, if you could get him back, I'm sure you guys would welcome him with open arms. I won't name him, but he's a baller.
Oh yeah, he's a baller. He's a baller, and I'm smiling because hey, we good.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
Okay, Coach. Hey, Coach. Last thing, if there's anything you like to say to the Southern fan base and the HBCU family and the SWAC family before we let you go.
Well, first of all, I just want to tell the Jaguar Nation once again, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to lead such a great program, the Southern University Jaguar football program. Everything has been wonderful. Ever since I returned last year in 21, it's been a great reception. I appreciate the support. I'm going to actually call on you all to help me, to help this program continue to be great. I would also encourage the HBCU fan base, alumni in general, is to really appreciate your coaches that you have that are committed and doing a great job at your institutions. You have an opportunity to go. You have an opportunity to hire who you want, but sometimes what you're looking for is right in your face. And everybody, they always say, the grass is green on the other side, but you got to be careful because that grass on the other side might be field turf. So appreciate what you have and work and help those guys do a great job. Because again, it's guys like myself that's been doing this 31 years. As Johnnie said, I'm an HBCU graduate, a two-time HBCU graduate, and a young man who grew up around HBCU football, who aspired, that dreamed about being a Coach Robinson, a Coach Richardson, a Coach Merritt, a Coach Gaither. The list goes on and on. Coach Billy Joe, You know, I aspire to be like those coaches, worked and prepared to have the opportunity, this opportunity to lead such a storied program. So don't look at us as guys just hanging on to a job or guys just satisfied of being there. You got guys like myself that are committed. You got a lot of great coaches in HBCUs who can go other places, but choose to be at our places. So when we do well, we understand when we don't do well what we're going to get. But then when we do well, appreciate us, appreciate us and celebrate us, because we can handle we can handle when we're not doing well. We can handle that's to be expected. But also appreciate us and celebrate us when we are doing well, because we want to be here. We want to coach our own and our culture.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we're gonna be calling you now. Okay. I'm gonna choke you when I see you. No, I'm just we were young, we were youngsters together in this business called football.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
We're gonna be watching you. We're gonna be following you, man. And just to let you know, this is the type of show that we want to, uplift guys like yourself. I mean, we had Mickey Joseph on last week, and now he's the head coach at Grambling. So This is what this show is about, man. We talk about real stuff, real people, real problems in HBCU. Believe me, I've been at 5 different black colleges and coached there as well. So I've seen it all different kind of ways. Yeah. But I appreciate you giving us your time.
Hey, Coach, we're a good luck charm for head coaches in the SWAC. We had Mickey one week. We had you scheduled the next week, and then we had a miscommunication and a hiccup. But you and Mickey came out, delivered the goods, and so I want to say that I would like to think that we had a part in that, Coach.
Y'all helped us out, and Mickey and I coached together.
2-0.
Really?
Yeah, we coached together at Grambling.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're way back, and I'm so happy for him. I'm happy for all the coaches that are head coaches and doing what they're doing. And I want to say thank you to you all, because we do need a platform like this for everyone to get to know who we are, how we think, because a lot of times people don't know, or they're silenced, or they're calculated on what they have to say because of the repercussions and things of that nature. But I thank you all for giving us this platform and this panel, and hopefully what it will do, it will give the fans, administrations, everyone an opportunity to see who we are and what we're all about, and to open up doors for other coaches.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Coach, this before you go, this is the last question, I promise, Coach. Because people have put this, if I see quarterback in this chat one more time, I'm going to pull my hair out, and I ain't got none. So, Coach, I'm going to ask you this question on behalf of all these people. Is the quarterback competition open?
All positions are open. All positions are open. Everyone must earn the right to start. Everyone. Nobody has a starting job. So all positions are open.
Yeah. Well, good.
All right, Coach. Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Coach, and we'll let you go, man. And thank you so much. You've been very gracious with your time, and I look forward to talking to you again, Coach.
All right, thank you. Go Jags.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was my first time meeting Coach Graves. And Coach Cole, he's everything you said he was, Coach.
Yeah.
He's an upbeat, positive guy, and he's a good interview, man. Really good interview. And hey, I thought he was gonna be a quiet guy, Coach, but ain't none of those coaches quiet.
Johnnie, I'm on. Okay, is he on? Is Curtis on? Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, he is.
You got me backstage.
Yeah, we got. Okay.
Good.
Now we had another featured guest today. This man is no stranger to HBCU football. He's absolutely a broadcast legend, a cable broadcast Hall of Famer. He is the man that is responsible for bringing HBCU football to your television with BET. It's none other than the great broadcaster himself, Curtis Symond.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm hoping you can hear me. I'm doing a little mystery here on my cell phone in a car, so I'm hoping you can hear me clearly.
Yes,
Yeah,
we can, sir.
yeah,
We
you can
can.
turn
No
on
problem.
this.
How you guys doing tonight?
We doing great. We doing great. I want to thank you for your patience. We had Mr. Simon scheduled for 9:30 or Eastern, and he hung on with us because Coach Graves ran a little long. But I want to thank you for your patience, sir. When I saw that Coach Cole had booked you for an interview this evening, I was very excited to get some insight into let the people, because I read thoroughly up on what you were able to do in broadcasting. But before we get started, can you kind of explain to the people who is Curtis Simon?
Well, Curtis Simon is a gentleman who grew up in Wilberforce, Ohio, and attended Central State University. Graduated in 1978. My mother worked there for 40 years as a physical education teacher. My dad worked there for 50. And I've been in the media business now for about 40 years plus through running a cable system, working for ESPN for 8 years, and then 14 years of Black Entertainment Television. So I've had a great mixture of opportunities over my years, and also ran the WNBA Washington Mystics as the president for 2 years. So I've had a chance to really, really bounce around a lot in the media business and the sports entertainment side. So HBCU Go has been my puppy, and now we're kind of building a platform that I think is going to be very exciting for our consumers down the road.
So we're okay. HBCU Go has a deal with the SWAC. Is that correct?
Yes, we have a 10-year deal. The goal, Byron Allen bought HBCU Go 2 years ago. And so the goal of the starting out was saying we needed to get all the black conferences under our belt to really have a good business. So we have a 10-year deal with the SWAC. We have a 10-year deal with the CIAA. We're finishing up a 10-year deal with SIC. We're working on trying to get a 10-year deal with the MEAC by next summer. So we're kind of definitely working and getting closer every day.
So if I'm correct in doing my research, you guys have the secondary rights to the SWAC. Is that correct?
That's exactly, you're right on point. You know, ESPN has the first rights, and then we have the second rights after they do their picks.
What exactly does that mean if somebody didn't understand first rights and second rights?
Well, what happens is that all the conferences give ESPN a football schedule of games that they have. ESPN goes through that schedule and picks the games that they want. Once they pick the games that they want, the conferences bring them back to us, and then we have the opportunity to pick the games we want. Now, we've kind of changed the game a little differently and changed the landscape because, number one, we started this year doing doubleheaders in black college football. We did doubleheaders in black college basketball. And now we're getting really involved in doing classics and homecomings, which has really kind of picked us up tremendously over the last 2 years.
Now, is it possible that y'all can so once they pick a game, you cannot show it on HBCU TV Go?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, how would I get HBCU TV Go?
You can get it a few ways. Number one, let me give you our television options. We're a very unique business because we sell our games in syndication, which means you can be picked up on broadcast channels across the country. And this year, for example, we were in 75% of television households in syndication, 85% of African American households. We also are carried on our sister channel, the Griot, as a linear cable channel, and then you have another outlet with HBCU Go. So you're really on 3 different channels carrying HBCU Go sports.
Oh, that's cool. So you now how much just to see, just to explain the impact of what you're doing, how many homes had access to HBCU football prior to you guys coming on board with the SWAC?
Well, they had zero. You know, in the 2 years we've now been with the SWAC, we're in about 109 million homes now across the country, adding up television, cable, and digital.
So let me ask you this: so you say ESPN selects the games that a schedule is submitted by a certain date, right?
Right.
Is
exactly.
is the date before the season?
Yes. The date is normally sometime in March. They'll pick their games for football, for example, and then they pick their games for basketball in September, and then we pick up the games right after that.
Well, if I could add some, and I know you in your transition, but maybe in the future that we can get some of these former coaches, as analysts, on the sideline, as if the PWIs do or the NFL do, that where they take coaches, that have coached before in HBCU. And is that something down the line that we can look forward to?
Yeah, that's something that we're working on. Hopefully, we want to develop that. Yes, Johnny, because of the fact that we're trying not to warehouse games, so we're trying to figure out ways in which we pick. Like for example, out of 60 games for the SWAC and football, ESPN takes 20, we take 10 or 11. So it still means there's like 30 games out there that we have. So now what we're trying to do is figure out other outlets to be able to run these games, and then that opens up the door for what you're talking about, adding different commentators and everything, and analysts to cover the games.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, Mr. Symond. Do you guys have your own what I've been watching it. I watched HBCU go the first year,
Right.
and I watched it some this past year.
Right.
Let me ask you this. Do you use your own production companies to broadcast the game? Because the quality of the production the first year was absolutely outstanding, right? I'm really haven't watched enough, the second year to really make an evaluation.
Well,
but I noticed that the quality was outstanding. So I was wondering, do you guys have your own production company that broadcasts the games, or do you guys use third-party production companies?
Yeah, we use third-party production folks, but we have our own folks that are doing producing and directing. And so the truck is always a third party, but we have a lot of our camera people. We work with another group that helps us out on it. And that's what's raised our level, as far as the quality. And the thing that we wanted to make a case on is that we want to deliver as much quality programming as you said in the first year. I mean, now people go to our channel and realize that we're raising the level of the quality. I mean, we're competing with the ESPNs, the NBCs, the CBS, and all that as far as sports. And so it's quality stuff all the way around, and it's even bigger because we're doing a lot of different things. Because one of the things that we're driving, especially in the HBCU circle, that many other networks who try to do HBCU stuff, is we're driving more than we show the bands. A lot of people don't show the bands. We show a lot of stuff before the game, all the barbecuing and all that stuff going on, which a lot of people don't show all that. So the culture is very, very important because to me, that's the thing that's really the highlight of Black college sports.
Let me ask you this. This is another broadcasting question. One of the things that I find kind of difficult sometimes catching all the SWAC games is they usually don't have a staggered starting schedule. Is that something you've addressed with the conference to kind of make broadcasting games more advantageous for the viewer? Like, I think if there was 11 o'clock game sometime in the SWAC or something like that, it would be great to watch an 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock SWAC game and then catch a SWAC game from 2:30 to 5 o'clock or something like that.
We're definitely looking at how we can make it more consumer friendly. One of the things that we're putting together with all the commissioners, I'm creating a commissioners tour. Where I'm going to see all the commissioners from SWAC all the way down to SISA, CIAA, and we're going to try to work on exactly what you're talking about. Work on times, work on trying to get more butts in the seats, work on ways where we can be very, very competitive as far as what the crowd and what the times look like. So yes, it's definitely something in the warehouse that we're looking at for sure.
Now, Curtis, what can you tell our audience, because we have a large audience, on how can we as African Americans help build this up, because this is ours. We take ownership. What can you tell our fan base?
Well, I mean, I think it's very similar, Johnny, on how I was able to get BT get involved with the consumers and really get everything starts with the grassroots. The more you can talk about it, more you guys are talking about on your channel with the number of people who are listening to you guys on a daily basis, that helps us tremendously because then it makes it more advantageous for people to chime in. But it's really about, the grassroots. We work with social media. We're on all the campuses now. trying to push it. So at alumni, we're trying to really work all the ways, we're touching that audience and try to definitely set a label that, hey, this is something you need to watch and support.
And okay, next question would be: are you considering building any programming around HBCU sports and HBCU football, whether it be a pregame show, postgame show, maybe a weekly,
Talk show. Talk
uh,
show.
talk show or something like that that discusses the action that happens within the SWAC and MEAC and
I
HBCU
mean,
football?
that's certainly something we want to do. I mean, I always tell people all the time, we're in our second year of this network, really getting it fully blown out, and certainly we're missing a lot of things right now because we can't do everything for everybody. And then it's always, it comes down to budget, what you can do and what you can't do. So yes, those are some of the things that in the future building up we want to do. I want to do a game day type show around all college football and basketball and other sports. I want to have a weekly show on the network that talks about HBCU Circle. Would like to talk with you guys down the road on creating some podcast work that we can basically do on a regular basis talking about HBCU. So that's something that's definitely in the works for sure.
Because I think that's one of the innovative things that ESPN did around college football is
Yeah.
they built out a lot of programming around college
Yes.
and pro football and
Yes.
almost created a whole ecosystem of shows that supported their broadcast
Yeah.
of NFL and college
No,
football.
you're exactly on point. You're exactly, and that's where we've got to. I mean, what we want to do, like for example, we're trying to be very responsive and supportive of Black College Football Foundation with Shaq and Doug Williams to get some of the retired players out and talking about the game and other things on the football side. Same way we like to look at on the basketball side and other sports. The more and more we can get some of these legends out to talk about what they did to get where they are today, the better it's going to help us as far as how we drive the network. So that's something definitely in thought for us. For sure.
Sounds good, Coach.
Well, one of the things that interested me about your story, Mr. Simon, it spans over the course of over 30 years.
Yes.
And you guys brought HBCU football. You brought HBCU football to cable television, which was unheard of when you did it. Can you just tell us a condensed story of how it was done and what inspired you to do it?
Well, I think what inspired me to do it was the fact that being around ESPN and BET, I was able to bring live Black College Sports to BET back in 1989. And knowing that there was a lack of exposure for Black colleges, what really drove me to try to create HBCU Go. And the fact that I felt once we could get that expose the brand, it would begin to start opening doors, which we're seeing now. I mean, for example, what I'm trying to do is build partnerships and grow the business. We just this year built a partnership with the NFL Hall of Fame, where they did the HBCU Hall of Fame game in Canton in September, where they let us simulcast that game. That's unheard of. That's unheard of. They gave us that game to air on the network. Same with the Legacy Bowl that you're doing in February with the All Star. We have opportunity to simulcast that, through the NFL Network. That's unheard of. But they realize that we're touching that HBCU audience, and that's really the key on how we're driving the business. So the more and more of those partnerships we can build, the better and better, we're gonna grow, and that's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at all the way. So it's something that is going to take us some time, but I think we're moving in the right direction at the end of the day.
Well, it's definitely a exciting thing. Now, is it any type of charge with trying to get HBCU to go?
No, it's free. Let me get out, Phil. It's free. It's free. That's the beauty of the service, is that it's not a charge. We're not ESPN Plus, where you got to pay for it to get to the network. You don't have to pay for that on that. It's automatic as far as getting it free, and that's the beauty of it. And that's the one thing that that's what we're kind of working around ESPN on that. Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second, guys. That white card can share. Okay. You being loud. Yep. Go ahead, guys. I'm still here.
Yeah. One of the things that I wanted to know, I saw a press release before the season last year, where you guys partnered with some local CBS stations to broadcast the games. Of course, it just so happened that our CBS station wasn't one of your partners. So, what could I do to encourage my CBS station to become a partner with HBCU Go, and how would they,
Well, I think it's the same thing on how we built BT years ago. Get the community to start calling down to the station saying, I don't seem to understand why we're not being able to carry the HBCU Go in our market. I see that it's carried in New York, LA, and other on CBS or whatever. Why is it carried in our market? Why can't you guys purchase games and see if you can drum up some support for you?
Oh, okay,
and drive it that way. I mean, the more and more you can make noise about it, the better and better we're gonna be.
Okay, that sounds like we can make that happen, huh, Rocky?
Absolutely. If it's that simple, just by calling down to the
cable
is our cable provider, or is it our cable provider, or is it the CBS station that we need to contact?
Check. Which market are you guys in? Which market are you guys in?
I'm in the Texas market. I'm Central
Arizona.
Texas.
Okay, you're in Arizona. It probably is calling both. Call the cable operator and see if they have the griot. That's what we carry on the cable side. And then and on the broadcast side, call your CBS station in the market and actually are they carrying HBCU Go on CBS? If you could start to get that mileage taken care of, you'd be surprised how people will start getting aware. I mean, years ago, man, especially in Arizona, for example, I was in Phoenix, and they wouldn't take BT. So I just took a bunch of people to city council and started complaining to the cable operator, which is Cox, and said, I don't understand why we don't have BT in the market. And the council people said, well, why don't we have it? I said, well, the cable operator won't put it on. And all these people that were black, that was in Phoenix, they all stood up and said, he's right. We want BT in the market. And slowly but surely, we got BT in.
Man, that sounds good. Now, are you guys filming basketball right now? Right?
We're doing basketball right now. We're doing doubleheaders in basketball right now. Yes.
So So one of the things I saw before the television is there was a game being broadcast by ESPN between Alabama State and USC, and the game was actually being played at Alabama State.
We actually, believe this or not, we actually had that game, but we couldn't sell the advertising on it, so I had to give it away. So ESPN scooped it right up. So the SWAC gave me those games. They had like 6 non-conference games with like Arizona, USC, so all the big name schools. And they gave us the game, but my ad sales people couldn't sell it. So I had to give the games back to ESPN. Get it back to SWAC.
Wow.
And that was a big miss. That was a big miss because, a couple of teams popped some teams. A couple of HBCU teams popped, other schools. Which was an opportunity for us to make some big noise on what we're doing. Because they don't want to give HBCUs no credit, but they're playing some good-ass basketball and football right now.
This is a basketball man we're talking to now, Rocky. He out coaching out down in Florida somewhere.
Yeah, I'm down at Fort Myers, man, at a tournament called City of Palm. I'm glad we were able to pull this off, because I was getting a little nervous if I could do it in the arena. So I was able to do it in the car, but I'm glad it came off.
What age group is that?
This is high school.
So you take a team from Ohio?
Yeah, we took a team from, not Ohio, Virginia. We're in Chantilly, Virginia. It's a Catholic school. Look it up and you see it. Paul VI Catholic school. We're #1 in the nation right now.
Oh, okay.
Are you guys gonna play? What's the school down in Florida that's big in basketball? Mount Verde.
Oh, Mount Verde. Yeah, they're in this tournament. If we get a championship, we'll probably see them in the championship.
Oh man, well that's big time. If Mount Verde is in there.
Oh yeah, they
it's big. It's a big time tournament then.
Yeah, they a monster. They a monster. So
yeah, they got about 10 guys on NBA rosters right now.
Yeah.
You
No,
know.
they produce. Kevin Boyle's been there for years, man, and he's been producing ever since he showed up. You know, so he has a list of guys who made it to the NBA. A list,
Oh, wow.
big time.
Wow.
So it's a big time tournament.
Wow.
Absolutely. Hey, Mr. Simon, I want to thank you for your time, man.
Hey, man.
You were gracious enough to wait, man, and you're welcome to stay on as long as you want. But I know you let us know that you're in the middle of coaching, and so I want to
appreciate
thank
it,
you
man.
for coming on and sharing
Ain't
your
no
knowledge
problem.
with us, man. And I look forward to you coming back.
No problem, man. Stay in
As
contact
these
with me. Any way I can help y'all, let me know.
absolutely. And that was Curtis Simon, the CEO of HBCU Go. Hey guys, yeah, man, Johnny. Hey, it was Johnny. They say you delivered today, Coach. You delivered. They say you producing tonight. First, you bring on Coach Graves, your longtime friend, and now you bring another friend on, Mr. Simons, a broadcasting legend. You producing, Coach. I agree with Edwin Moore. You are producing today, Coach. But
We still got a whole lot of guests. Stedman Graham, Rudy Johnson, Doug Williams, Shea Harris. Walter Highsmith's brother. So it's a whole bunch of guys out there that I know that I'm real good friends with that definitely would want to help ourselves and let folks know where they are and what we could do to make HBCUs better.
And Coach, it was great to hear that Coach Graves appreciate the program that you've built, and you knew when you created this that you were filling a void that wasn't available. And I'm glad to see that other coaches, other guys in your profession see value in what we're doing here, man. And I absolutely love doing this each and every Tuesday. And I can't wait on Tuesday evening to do this show with you, man. It's really a lot of fun. We both love football, and so, hey, but we had a football game last week, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Believe that. We had the big game.
We had a wonderful time watching it together as well.
Absolutely, we did. We had a great. Hey, I suggest y'all go back and watch it if y'all get a chance. Go on the Offscript channel and watch the watch party, man. Coach, you was on fire, Coach. You were like John Madden analyzing the game. You broke it down for Scotty and myself to the point to where you were making sense out of all of Willie Simmons' decisions that he was making and what he was going through during the game, trying to figure things out, man. It was great to do that watch party with you, man. And it was a really, in a championship game, it was awesome.
Well, one of the things though, when I watched the game, Howard didn't come in there to win the game. They came in the game not to lose the game. And their game plan worked out, but it wasn't good enough for a team that had confidence that came in to win the game, and that's what happens sometimes. There were some times that I felt Howard really early in the game should have took some shots, and they didn't take shots down the field. They just wanted to try to hold on to that lead that they had. And unfortunately, you got to score points against FAMU.
Yeah, Coach, watching the game, Coach, it was clear to me that there was a talent gap, right? But Howard was able to jump on FAMU so quick. Do you think that gave him a false sense of security, thinking they could take control of the game when eventually they were going to be ran down by FAMU's talent?
Well, I mean, when you look at the numbers, the numbers are close. You know what I'm saying? Total yards, 357, 187, which is 200, 19 first downs to 11. It was fairly close, a good game, because it did come down to the end. With the turnovers that Florida A&M had, we both said that was going to happen, with Musa. But I just didn't feel that the Bisons, when they had that 14-point lead, it's the old saying, you got to kill a flea with a sledgehammer. And when they had them, man, they never took shots downfield. We're gonna run it, then we'll pass it. We're gonna run it. I mean, it's just got redundant. And once Florida MC that they weren't gonna take shots downfield, they picked their ears back and just got after them. They always kept 8 men in the box. The whole game they kept 8 men in the box almost until they jumped up and then they pushed them back.
Well, ultimately, Coach, when they tried to pass, though, Q Williams wasn't able to keep the ball away from the other team. I mean, that's ultimately, in my opinion, that was their undoing. Because when they were up, he gave the ball to the other team, and then when the game got tight, he gave the ball to the other team twice.
Yeah, I just didn't think the pass selection was good. It was like, 3rd and long, everybody in the stadium said, pass. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think they put him in plays that make him successful.
Yeah.
Or they played a lot of man on the outside. Sometimes you can just throw the go route or throw the post route and nobody could get it. But when you throw it in a crowd of people, I just didn't think that they came in there to win the football game. I think their philosophy was, we're not going to lose the game.
Yeah. At the end of the day, Coach, I think what ended up happening was now FAMU was definitely the more talented team, I think. But they definitely made a ton of mistakes and had a ton of penalties. Their just sheer ability to overcome those penalties and those turnovers, to me, is a testament to, how good actually FAMU really was. They actually, Coach, Musa threw a pick 6 with 5 minutes left to go to give Howard the lead.
Yeah.
And FAMU didn't bat an eye. They didn't flinch. They went out there, and they drove the ball methodically down the field, culminating, getting a touchdown on a flea flicker, Coach.
Yeah. That was a heck of a
They called a flea flicker. What I want to say, 3 minutes and something left to go in the game, I believe.
Yeah, Coach. That was a big time call at the right time. Right when Howard is trying to grind it out and bring everybody up, thinking that Florida A&M was gonna run it, and they end up passing. Talent wise, I've seen some great players on both sides of the team. I don't know if Howard had the speed Florida A&M had. With the one kid, Sherrod, I think he was a difference in the game as well.
Oh yeah, they kept scaring Howard with that deep pass that Musa couldn't hit.
Yeah.
They were, Musa missed, 3 to 4 deep passes, Coach, that were there?
No.
Coach Symond dialed it up. It was there, and he just didn't hit them.
Yeah.
And as a play caller, Coach, when you dial it up like that and your quarterback can't hit it, does that make you gun shy as a play caller?
Well, like I was saying during the game, sometimes you just gotta take a shot to say, I'll take a shot. I'm just gonna let you. I'm not gonna let y'all disrespect me and play an 8-man box, because my game is to run the ball. But if you make me throw the ball, and I don't think my quarterbacks is that type of guy, I still gotta give him passes where either my man gonna catch it or my man gonna knock it down. I'm not gonna give him pass routes where they actually know we gonna throw the ball and then they drop back in the zone and then I try to throw the ball.
And that's essentially what FAMU was doing when Howard was trying to pass the ball. They were sitting on all of Howard's routes. And you said several times during the game, Howard has to take a deep shot to bag FAMU up because that defense was suffocating not only the run game, but the short passing game. They had took away the short passing game.
Yeah, the corners were sitting at about 9 yards, and the safeties were sitting about 10 at times. So by the time you turn around and hand that ball to that running back, them safeties are up in there running the alley, making tackles. So that's what I mean when you had an 8-man box. You had 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and 2 safeties. So that's hard to run the ball on, and it's hard to be successful with a team that you don't even take not one shot, coach. They didn't take not one shot down the field.
Now, coach, with Willie Symond being, him and the FAMU Rattlers winning their first national championship, as a coach, does this kind of take the pressure off you, or do you get greedy and you want more?
Well, I think the greed as far as winning championships are instantly in winning coaches. I said winning coaches, not somebody stumble to the championship and win because everybody is bad. I think that's just a part of your nature that I always want to win the championship. Does it take pressure off you? Yes, it should. It should. But it depends and it gets political. You know what I mean? But a guy that's a winner, every year he puts the pressure on himself to continue to win.
Coach, with first off, I want to personally thank the FAMU Rattlers, Coach Willie Symond, for what they did for the SWAC. As a SWAC fan, I want to say, what they did was kind of defended the honor of the SWAC because the MEAC had a 6-1 advantage in the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah.
And there were all kind of theories around why the MEAC had the advantage. But the 3 Celebration Bowls I saw, and it held true even in this game, but FAMU was able to overcome it. The SWAC was the more mistake-prone team.
Right.
Yeah. And they can say this stuff. The MEAC is a more physical team. The MEAC runs the ball more, all this here kind of stuff. But in the 3 Celebration Bowls I saw, the MEAC, the SWAC was simply the most error-prone team.
Yeah. Last year Jackson State was explosive. The 2 years Jackson State went, very explosive football team. But you can't make those mistakes. And North Carolina Central, which is last year, they figured it out that was the thing with Jackson State. They were playing 8, 9-man front sometimes. And so instead of running the back, they started running the quarterback and using the back as an extra blocker. And once they got past that line of scrimmage, they didn't have a second layer to their defense. And they kept on doing that. That's why that that quarterback had more yards than anybody. So the game of football is a game of numbers. You got to always have a hat on a hat. Means somebody blocking somebody on the defense side. And if you can get your players in those positions to make plays, they'll make plays.
Hey, Coach, before we get out of here, we got to talk about this, Coach. We got to talk about this year.
Wow.
The new head coaches in the SWAC, Coach. Wow. These are the guys. Now, there's one guy I had to put a question mark by at your alma mater, right? Are these, we know you have relationships with Mickey Joseph and Terrence Graves. Are you familiar with the work of Cedric Thomas?
Yeah. Cedric is a secondary coach, came out of junior college ranks. Real good defensive back coach. Had the job at UAPB, ended up leaving, going to Southern Miss. And of course, that didn't work out. He ended up back up at Alcorn. But a good recruiter. He's an Alcornite, so he's going to be coaching his butt off. And I heard he was a good recruiter as well.
Now, and Coach, we got a question from Edwin Moore. Coach Edwin says, "You aren't in the running for the TSU job? Obviously not. Otherwise, we wouldn't have Fred McNair's picture up there." Yeah. So let me, guys, tell you what the situation is as far as I was able to research. Fred McNair went up today to be confirmed as the head coach, and the board came to the decision that they would defer any decision on his appointment as head coach, citing that they have questions about the selection process and how Fred McNair they derive to the decision of Fred McNair at TSU, coach. Now I know you announced this 3 weeks ago, coach. So this is a poorly kept secret in HBCU football. So with your knowledge, what could be going on here? Like it's been out for 3 weeks that Fred McNair is the man, and now on the same day that Cedric Thomas is appointed head coach at Alcorn, Fred McNair's appointment was deferred by the Board of Regents of TSU.
Yes. I think that this choice should have been over. It probably should have been over when Texas Southern came in the middle of the year, and the coach they had was 0-4. He had been there 5 years, only had won 8 games. I don't know where that jives at when you're talking about having a winning football program. But whatever the administration was about, it was supporting Coach McKinney, so it be. But most times when coaches are down like that, first thing you do is you want to try to put together a list of coaches. Then you want to get it down to, the ones that you're really interested in. And evidently this didn't happen. I don't know what happened in between, but some people had a question about it. And, TSU, we right here sitting right now without a coach. So,
wow. And it's and it's December the 19th. Tomorrow will be the 20th, and TSU still doesn't have a coach heading into the second window of recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
Man, as we pointed out earlier, Terrence Graves, who was a scheduled guest, got the Southern job. Our special guest, Mickey Joseph, a few weeks ago, got the Grambling job.
Yeah.
What do you think about that hire, Coach?
Shit, man, I think it was a great hire. Mickey is a Louisiana guy. He's a great recruiter out of the New Orleans area. He knows everybody down there. He's had the black college experience at Langston, Alabama State, as well as Grambling. He's had the experience of the PWIs. He's been the interim head coach at Nebraska. So he does have a pedigree. His brothers, one of them is the defense coordinator at the Broncos. So he does. Excuse me, Coach.
I know, Coach. We're going to get you out of here shortly.
He definitely got the pedigree, Coach, that he could get it done.
Hey, let me ask you this, Coach. With Mickey being hired as the Grambling head coach, right? Do you think his network with PWIs would allow him to bring some guys in I'm talking about players, from a player standpoint? Will that help him out in the transfer portal when recruiting kids who, get in the portal from PWI?
Yeah. Well, Mickey is he got some connections out there. Like I said, coaching at LSU, coaching at the University of Nebraska. You know, he should be able to go and get some players. You know, he got 5 players in the NFL that are Pro Bowls, wide receivers. You know, Chase, Jennings. I mean,
Jefferson.
Man, Jefferson, if you go get those type of kids to play, shit, man, you getting it done.
Jameson.
So yeah. I look for him to do some good things.
Hey, Coach. We were gonna take some calls, but I'm gonna get you out of here, Coach. Cause
take a couple of calls if they on there.
All right, we got one. We got a caller sitting there.
Gonna take the calls. I'm gonna get you out.
All right, Coach. We got a caller 3859. You're live on HBCU Coach's Corner.
We got a caller sitting there.
Turn your radio down, caller. Turn your.
3859. Okay, all right. Give me 1 second. I'll turn it down.
Turn it off, man. Turn us off. Listen to us on the phone.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Hey, thank you guys for having me on. And I wanted to address a couple of things you talked about the other night, right after the Celebration Bowl.
Okay.
I'm a North Carolina Central guy, and I agree that Coach Symond is outstanding. Very outstanding. And but y'all talked about a lot of gutsy calls that were made, and it seemed like we just forgot about the gutsy calls that Trey Oliver made last year with the state punts and going straight after Travis Hunter right off the rip. But I don't want to get into trying to compare that game to this game. What I really wanted to was tell Coach and yourself, you all were talking about the value of some of these NFL players coming in. And I think the coach that you just had on from Southern, who I just think is an outstanding gentleman, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't make it to Atlanta next year. You can say I heard it from me first.
Who is me? Because you didn't give your name and where you calling from.
I'm sorry. I'm Johnnie Thornton. I'm a media caller from Charlotte, North Carolina tonight.
All right, we like MEAC guys. MEAC guys are cool with us.
I appreciate it. But I wanted to say, when you guys were talking about Coach Symond possibly being a coordinator for Coach Prime Sanders, you know, I was saying, guys, you're going backwards. Coach Symond is 3-time the coach of Deion Sanders. But, you know, of course, Deion is the marketing guy, and he's made it to the top. But just like our previous, you know, Coach, forgive me for getting your name. I'm sort of embarrassed. I'm sort of nervous that I've gotten online here. But
okay,
your years of experience, sir.
You said Trey Oliver.
No, the coach. No, I'm referring to the co-host tonight.
Oh, Coach Cole. Coach Cole.
Coach Cole. Yeah, right. Yeah. Coach Cole. You know, I want to reiterate that you all's years of experience in the grind really means a lot to a lot of us people from the HBCU sphere. You know, I was an athlete starting in 85 and 78, and the love and attention that you all pour into us, that men like yourselves pour into us, means so much down the line in careers and life. And the Southern coach hit on something again that you all sort of overlook. Sometimes it's just not all about the money. Sometimes coaches get gratification in seeing a guy like me and saying, boy, I remember when you showed up here, you know, nervous, old raggedy car, and now you such and such, you know, a senior supervisor for the DEA, or you're giving money back to the school. So I, you know, in essence, I guess I'm saying is a lot of us appreciate you all that put in them 25 and 30-year grinds and longer more than you all think we do. And that, again, you know, I think Deion Sanders brought something to all the HBCU football that it woke us up again. But I'll never see him as a coach that could touch none of y'all, that could hold either one of y'all's water based on what I saw with us going up against him and some of his recruiting. And that's all I want to say. I don't want to be long-winded, but I really if I had anything else to say.
But I think you should hold on and let Coach Cole respond to you because you brought up a lot of things there, and Coach Cole may be able to shed some light to some of those things that you talked about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. Well, firstly, I appreciate you appreciating us. But all the time, us black coaches, we get the bad end of the stick. It's no reason why coaches that win championships or become head coaches in black college football, once they leave that head coaching position, 8 out of 10 times they don't get back into coaching because we're in a box. So when we do get a coach like a Symond, we need to push Symond on to bigger and greater things. That's the only way that we're gonna be able to get out. And what happens is if we don't push these great coaches like Coach Symond and Coach Trey Oliver, we can't even open doors for us on the black level because all of us are swimming over these 20 jobs when it's 300 jobs out there. So and then, let's face it, man, you can't ask the man, to take 250,000 and then somebody offering him $5 million. That's why you coach. You coach to win championships. You coach to touch young men, and you coach to be able to take care of your family. But I appreciate it. Eddie Robinson, them they didn't have opportunities to go to another school.
Right.
So
right. Well, this is what I would say, and I'm stealing some of Coach's thunder here. Because you don't ask accountants to take less money so they can work for a black firm. You don't ask black lawyers to take less money to serve black clients. You understand what I'm saying? You don't ask anybody else to take less money to stay in the HBCU space, but you expect coaches to do.
And here's the other thing.
Right.
What?
Right. Okay,
why are HBCU schools that the president has to make more than a head football coach? The president cannot get 50,000 people on a Saturday afternoon. The president cannot get 45,000 people to listen to him on the weekend. But a coach can do that.
Coach, can I just interrupt you real please? Because you're going to be proud of what I got to say.
Yes.
Coach. It's almost like you've been listening on my phone calls, like you had my wires tapped. I raised holy hell at North Carolina Central and brought the exact same thing. I said Trey Oliver, the head football coach, should make more money than anybody on the campus. And not only that, Coach, I don't mean to brag. I'm not bragging on me, but I try to lead by example. In the last 3 years, I think I put $25,000 in the North Carolina Central football, and people say, "Oh, that's a lot." Well, no, I sacrifice because it means more to me than having, the being the best dressed dude around at 63.
So how much money you put in? How much money you put in?
25,000.
In the last 3 years, 25,000.
Hey, that deserves a cash register right there. But hey,
you might need to earmark that to Trey Oliver.
Yeah.
I might need to do what now?
You can earmark the money that goes straight to Trey Oliver.
Yeah. Well, I met with Coach Oliver the other day. I just happened to be in Durham, and I told him, I said, "Listen, Coach," I said, "well, one of the trustees was my line brother, which was a good thing at that time." He was like, "Well, how should we compensate him?" I said, "Well, you need to give him $300. You need to give him about $320,000. I said, "Because SWAC coaches make that much." And I said, he need this thing about him not making more than the president. That's baloney. And then I said, and I told Coach Oliver, I said, "Coach Oliver, now you let me down because I was on the phone. I was fighting for you to get $100,000 to give to all your staff, including from the least water boy all the way up to the OC. Because see, I worked in the federal government, and we give out bonuses. And we try to take care from the secretary all the way up to the honcho. When we got things right and had a good year, that's the way you're supposed to do it. And I don't think Coach Oliver asked for that much money because, he had his good reasons. But no, I agree with you 100%. We got to get out of this mentality of the church. The president is the preacher. Nobody can make more money than the preacher.
Right. Right.
And Coach, again, I don't want to. I wish I could. Some ways I could talk to y'all offline because I don't want to tie up all the space tonight. But I want y'all to know that you all appreciate. We have a coach named Robert Stonewall Jackson. He coached in North Carolina Central a bunch of years. He's a World War II veteran, and he's the first black to be drafted out of an HBCU back in the day out of World War II. As we understand it, Robert, huh?
I said Stonewall. I heard of that man.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. And let me explain something to you. I'm 63 years old right now, and if I don't think about him every other day of my life, God is not in heaven, because he just meant that much to me and so many guys. Because he was making boys to men, he taught some of us how to be respectful and be men and to be appreciative, and again, I just want to. I don't want to debate y'all too hard, but I think Coach Symond has done a much better job than was done at Jackson State. I don't think the person that was. I mean, when Jackson State won the 2 SWAC championships is what I mean, and I think Coach Symond is a brilliant coach, and I wanted you all just a little bit now. Don't forget that. If you go back and look at some of the breakdown of film, the way we beat Jackson last year, we outcoached them. We did some creative and innovative things.
If you didn't know, we had Coach Oliver on here earlier in the season, and Coach Oliver told and Coach Oliver let us know that he wasn't gonna let no guy who had been coaching 2 years out-coach him, and he's been coaching 24 years. He let us know that live. Exactly. You go back and look at one of our shows, and we had Coach Oliver. Coach Oliver spent some time with us. Unfortunately, it was right before the Howard game, and unfortunately, because we were really looking forward. We were really looking forward to him being in the Celebration Bowl.
I talked about North Carolina Central tonight. How they.
Like I told some of my peers at North Carolina.
Yeah. We need. Hold on, we got some callers. Hey, caller. Hey, man, I appreciate you calling in. Let's get to some of these other guys, man. And caller with the last four 7085. You're live on HBCU Coach's Corner. What's your name and where you calling from?
How you doing? Hey, how you doing? Yeah, my name is Vince. Calling from Mississippi.
What's up, Vince? How you doing? Thank you for calling in.
How you doing? Listen, the reason I'm calling, I hear a lot of these guys talking about, Willie Symond, he should go to a Power 5 school. So the goal is for black coaches to come in the league, come to black universities, get established there, then go join the plantation.
Oh, okay. So
no, I'm asking that to go.
No. Hold up. If we're gonna talk. When my daughter graduates from Prairie View and with a computer science degree, and she go work for IBM or Apple, is she working for the plantation?
Of course she is, because she don't have with all these black people with degrees, what plantation do they got to offer her?
No. What I'm saying
is, she got to go to the white man plantation. Yes, she's gonna go to the plantation. She got to go to the
well, in
plantation
that case,
because there's no black.
In that
there's
case,
no
we
black
all
plantation for her to go to.
What black? Okay, so you consider HBCUs the black plantation?
No, I'm considering a black coach.
PWI as the plantation.
He coached at an HBCU, which really HBCUs were started by the slave master anyway. So a black coach who coached at an HBCU, he said, okay, well, there's not enough money because these blacks hadn't been established enough. They hadn't been able to raise the funds. Where this plantation owner over here got more money, I'm going to jump ship from this HBCU to this mega corporation over here. Because with all our degrees.
Go ahead, Coco.
What do you do for a living?
I own a company, apparel company.
Apparel company. All right. Now, do you only just deal with black? Do you only just deal with black buyers?
I would prefer to, but I don't know who buys my product. Numerous people buy my product. I got to go into the data.
Right. So for your business,
because blacks are the number one consumers. But listen what I'm saying. Blacks are the number one consumers. So I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be in business without your dollars.
Right.
Just like the Caucasian, he wouldn't be in business without your money. Because you're the number one consumer, not a producer.
What's a lifespan of a head football coach?
My brother's a coach. My brother's been coaching at the Power 5 level for over 35 years.
Okay. So your brother's working for the plantation?
Yeah, my brother been at Arizona State, Purdue. Right now he's at Central Michigan. He's dropped down the rank.
Yeah. So your brother worked for the plantation?
Exactly. My brother married to a Caucasian.
Here's my point, Vince. Vince, here's my point. We as professionals, and I don't care what industry you find yourself in, if we want to take the track of career progression, then what we have to do is become proficient at our job, and then we go out on the market, and most of us try to get the most we can for the skills we have. And again, I won't argue that point with you, Vince. I appreciate you calling in. We got plenty. We got another caller. Thank you for calling in, Vince. And caller with the last 4, 7022. You're live on HBCU Coach's Corner. Hey, can you turn our YouTube down in the background, man? You're gonna have to turn down, bro. You're gonna have to turn this all the way down. Hey, you need to turn us down in the background.
Huh?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
You down now? How you doing, Coco? This is one of your former players.
Okay.
Demetrius Sneed. How you been doing?
Man,
I want to ask you a question. I need some help because I'm trying to be a coach.
Okay.
So I wanted to get some pointers from you.
You want to get some what now?
I'm trying to be a head coach, so in high school, so I need some pointers from you.
Are you in the high school system?
Yeah, I'm trying to be a head coach in high school.
What state? What state?
North Carolina.
Huh? What did he say?
North Carolina.
North Carolina is what he said.
You got your teacher's certificate?
No, I'm going in as a substitute.
All right, you got to get on somebody's staff first, and kind of work your way through. But in the meantime, get your certificate because most head coaches, those states demand that you have a certificate. You see what I mean? And
I know you probably don't remember.
Well, what year where did you play with me at? Play for me.
Arizona Western College.
At Arizona Western. Demetrius Sneed is his name.
Demetrius. Okay, Arizona Western. Man, y'all was hard on me up there. Y'all were hard on me up there.
Yeah, number 41.
Yeah, I know. Well, you could do it.
Yeah.
Hey, all right, Demetrius, we got another caller, Demetrius. Thank you for calling in. Hey, and I'll pass your number on to Coach Cole.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, caller, with the last 4, 5938. You're live on HBCU Coach's Corner. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Daryl calling from Oregon.
Hey, what's up, Daryl? What's going on?
How's it going? Hey, it's been a pleasure listening to you guys, listening to Coach. But I just want to kind of talk about I think Vince, where he talked about the plantations and everything else. I was kind of following what he was saying. It sounds like what he was trying to say is that it seems like that coaches that the HBCU is becoming a stepping stone for coaches to go to the PWI. And I do believe, back when Eddie Robinson and all the other guys, some of those guys had opportunities, but they wanted to stay at the HBC level because that's where they thought they could impact black young men. And it wasn't about the money, and so instead of, because it's all about the money at the end of the day when you start going to a PWI. So why don't the HBCU schools start increasing and open up their pockets for some of those coaches out there if they want to keep them? What do you think about that, Coach?
Man, I think you're right. Like I just said earlier, there's not a school where the head football coach don't make more money than the president. And because it brings more than just winning and losing football games. It brings kids to your place. It gives alumni a great feeling if you win, and so yeah, I, without a doubt, I think we need to put more money over to the football program because it's the revenue generator.
Yeah, Daryl. I completely agree with you, Daryl. And at the end of the day, a lot of these institutions, whether it be Florida State, the University of Texas, Texas A&M, there's a lot of black people who pay taxes that contributes to those universities. And those universities should hire black men, which are part of the citizenry that represent those states and those state-ran institutions. I'm not in favor of PWIs being all white and HBCUs all black. I think we're way beyond that at this point, Coach.
Well, one of the things is I'm glad
it's all about that coaching tree. It's about that coaching tree. I was just listening to him the other day in the NFL talking about all the coaches is out there now and who they came through. I mean, when you look at Nick Saban, you look at all the coaches that came through him at Texas, Georgia, Lane Kiffin, and all those coaches out. And listen to all the coaches I could name, but I can't name no president of a university.
Absolutely.
Not one president of a university. All right, guys, you have a great night.
All right, Coach. Hey, Coach, I'm going to close the call line, Coach. That was our last caller. I'm going to get you out of here so you can get you a hot toddy and some Vic Salve and get up under that cover, man. Because, that's the remedy we use here in Texas, man. Get that Vic Salve and you're a hot toddy. Get you a little shot of something. Mix it with some honey and some lemon. And then get up under the cover, man. Put some socks on and get up under that cover, man. And you'll sweat it right out, Coach.
Get a good sweat in, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Take us out, Coach.
Man, I heard this story. This guy was with a Mexican man and a white man, and he said, I want to go to heaven. And the Mexican man said, how you going to go to heaven? You need to ask God to go to heaven. And the black man said, well, where's God at? He said, oh, man, he's a mile down the road. So he walked down there and he seen God and he looked around. And surely, as a black man, you wasn't going to heaven. And he whispered something in God's ear. And next thing you know, God said, open up the pearly gates. And so the black man walked on in. Then the Mexican said to the white guy, "Man, what did he say to God? What did he say to God?" He said, "Lord, please let me in because blacks don't work with blacks. Until they do, we'll never get in." And God ended up letting me in. But hey, look, if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, tie a knot, hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you.